Hey everybody, this is JD Gaming. Happy Friday and welcome back to 4 Fun Facts in Yu-Gi-Oh!, the show where we discuss just that and hopefully learn something new along the way. In the early days of dueling, many people learned about the newest monsters through the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime. As these iconic creatures gradually made their transition into the trading card game, we would occasionally receive a really cool monster that was literally impossible to summon or properly use because the associated cards were not yet printed. These time paradox scenarios occurred for some surprisingly famous duel monsters throughout the game's history. Before the modern Megatins, Konami released batches of 6 booster pack tins that each contained a variant card of the monster featured on the lid, as well as an assortment of recent booster packs. I remember back in 2003 when my brother and I begged our parents for his Dark Magician and my Jinzo tins. Our neighbor was also into the game at the time, and he bought a tin featuring a monster we weren't too excited about simply because we had never heard of it before. XYZ Dragon Cannon is of course the combination of Kaiba's famous Union Trio, and its popularity lives on in the spiritual successor theme ABC Dragon Buster. The reason we had never heard of this card at the time was the tins were released September 2003, but Magician's Force, the set with X Head Cannon, Y Dragon Head, and Z Metal Tank, didn't come out for another month. I'm sure some older collectors who kept up with the OCG at the time would have been ecstatic at the chance to obtain an exclusive rarity of the card before it was even properly playable, but kid me just didn't understand the point of a card that was impossible to even summon. When Magician's Force finally came out in October 2003, we received another highly anticipated monster. Dark Magician Girl was Yugi's answer to Arcana's disrespectful dueling style, as she gained 300 attack points for each copy of Dark Magician residing in either graveyard. While the following aspect wasn't used in this episode, she also counts copies of Magician of Black Chaos, the ritual monster Yugi used to take down Pegasus. In the TCG, we wouldn't receive the Chaos Mage until the release of the first premium pack in October 2007, a whole 4 years after the first printing of a card that specifically named it. Maybe if Pegasus played the TCG instead of fooling around in the cartoons, he wouldn't have been defeated, and he could have continued collecting souls for another 4 years. 2004 was a monumental year for Yu-Gi-Oh! With such releases as Invasion of Chaos, the set regarded as the one responsible for the conception of the Forbidden List, as well as Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, Pyramid of Light. This was a cinematic celebration of the franchise's global success, and each ticket purchase came with one of 4 new promo cards featured in the film: Sorcerer of Dark Magic, Blue Eyes Shining Dragon, Watapon, and the titular Pyramid of Light. Kaiba's new monster was an impressive upgrade to his already powerful Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which first wowed fans in his face-off against Yugi prior to the Duelist Kingdom finals. The problem with Seto's shiny savior was that it required you to tribute a face-up Ultimate Dragon you control for its summon, yet that card wouldn't be released in the TCG until January 2005's physical edition of Shonen Jump magazine, cause yes, that was a thing back then and I so miss seeing them in bookstores. Also as a bonus fact, while the movie's premiere showings happened in the US, Europe, and Australia in August 2004, Japan had to wait for select theaters to feature the film in November, and then for a televised broadcast in early 2005. This was unique in that the adaptation process was reversed as the film was translated to Japanese, and certain cards that were normally censored in the West actually got uncensored to their original OCG artwork as they made it back home. This last one is another rare instance of the West getting something before the OCG. Extreme Victory was the final set of the 5Ds era and gave Synchro Monsters one final push for competitive dominance before Xyz Monsters eventually took over. With format-defining world premiere or TCG exclusive cards like Reborn Tengu and Tour Guide from the Underworld, Extreme Victory breathed new life into the popular Plant Synchro strategy. Some say the transition to an Xyz-focused metagame was forced by Konami, who took the synchrocentric deck that was already on its way out of competitive play in the face of Dino Rabbits and Wind-Ups, and effectively kicked it out the door with quite the controversial Forbidden and Limited list. The March 2012 update ignited much debate because it forbade just 4 cards: Trap Dust Shoot, Glow Up Bulb, Spore, and Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, the latter 3 of which were seen as a ploy with the sole purpose of weeding synchros out of the competitive scene. Also on this list was Reborn Tengu, who was now semi-limited before it even existed in Japan. Recall that prior to September 2013, Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a unified ban list for both territories. We would sometimes get cards like Temple of the Kings as TCG imports that were already forbidden as they were in the OCG, and Allure of Darkness was a TCG exclusive that actually received an emergency semi-limit between formats of the Teledad era. But this was the first time a card that didn't even exist in Japan was announced in an officially scheduled list and published in the V-Jump magazine. Tour Guide later joined Tengu in September, but by that time, its Japanese printing in the Extra Pack 2012 had been announced for October. And there you have it, 4 fun facts regarding time paradoxes in Yu-Gi-Oh! Let me know if you know of any similar situations down below, and as always, I'll see you guys next week for 4 more fun facts. That's the end of this video, but there's plenty more where it came from. I invite you to explore the playlists on screen to see what else I have to offer, and if you really liked what you saw today, consider subscribing to JD Gaming for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Videos. Thanks guys, this is JD Gaming, hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I'll see you guys next time.